Was smoking all my dragons, divine, righteous, almighty greats, overachieving, never slacking. And I am back. We're going to fly over to Scotland today. This is Scotland 10 shocks of visiting Scotland. Now, this video is definitely going to, I feel like, take me by surprise because now when I think about Scotland from the videos that I have reacted to, I really just picture the wilderness. So, I want to know what's gonna shock me, right? So we're going outside of the Loch Ness monster, but we're gonna hop right into it. Original link in the description. Here we go.
Today we're here in Scotland. We're outside of... Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're here in Scotland. We're outside of Inverness and enjoying our time here. And today we have for you our 10 things that are going to shock you when you come here to Scotland. And I'm going to get straight to the point. The first thing that shocks people when they come here is how everywhere you go looks like a freaking postcard. Scotland is gorgeous. Whether you're going through the glens or you're going by the lochs, or you're going to beautiful cities, going to Edinburgh and seeing the castle there and walking through the city. Everywhere you go, from Stirling to the Highlands to the Isle of Skye, everywhere you go is gorgeous. They have cool cities, all kinds of nice people, all kinds of fantastic stuff. And wherever you go, look, it's a postcard. This is a random caravan park, okay? And that's my view. And that's not even the good view. The other view is that way, but the sun's pointing the wrong direction. And the thing is, when you come here, you will literally be oohing and eyeing and going, oh my goodness, is that like Harry Potter? Yes, it is. That bridge you see in Harry Potter, that's here. This is what it's like when you come to Scotland. It is just unbelievably gorgeous. And that's why, going off of that, the second thing that shocks people when they come here is the insane natural beauty of Scotland. Look, when you're going around, you might be going into the hills, you know, the kind of like mini mountains that are out here, and you can go hiking in them. It's great just to walk through. I remember when I came here with Caleb the first time, all he wanted to do was like, Dad, stop the car, let's go hiking. I'm like, all right. And we climb up into the mountains and see the heather and see the thistle and everything there. And it was really just amazing. And when you come here, there's tons and tons of pathways you can walk on. Just go into the hills and the mountains to go to on the lochs and take, you know, go on a boat ride on the lochs, go sailing on the lochs, go see the dolphins out on the Black Isle going by. It is truly natural.
That is so beautiful. Just imagine that, just seeing those dolphins. I mean, love it, love it, love it. I've never seen a dolphin before.
Beauty here. For us, the Isle of Skye is the top, though. When you have the waterfall going off the side of the island, it is just great. But the Highlands, and you go to the islands and everything, it is just amazingly beautiful nature when you are here. And when you come, you really feel like you get back to nature because there's so much space here as well, which goes along with that, that when you drive, you can go for miles. Not kilometers here, you drive for miles in Scotland. And you drive, and I'll talk about the driving later, but you go through and it's just, wow, that's beautiful. Wow, that's beautiful. And you just kind of take it all in. And the third shock I have for you, because it all kind of ties into this postcard theme for the first three, is how many insanely cool castles there are throughout Scotland. Now, we all know Edinburgh Castle, because you're going to go there with the Edinburgh Festival and all those kind of things. But you go, so probably go to Stirling Castle as well. Eiling Castle, probably the coolest castle you've ever seen. I mean, that is an amazing castle to check out there. There's castles on the lochs, there's castles all over the place. And what's cool is Scotland is very proud of their history, and they've kept up these castles and the manor homes around the country. And you go around and you'll be driving by and like, oh, there's another castle we can see. Turn off and go to it. It's worth it because they're kept very well. They have good guides. They have really good information. There's usually a cafe, nice bathrooms, all together there, and it is just cool because all those things really tie it together into making this such a wonderful country for the traditional kind of tourists, from the beautiful landscapes to the castles to the cities. And there's a reason why Jocelyn, every time she comes here, she says, Mark, we should move here. I mean, we were driving around today and she's like texting, oh, don't worry, she wasn't driving. She was going through and looking, hey, what universities have jobs here? I mean, that's what's so cool about it. And that's the thing, is we were driving around, and that's the fourth thing that shocks tourists when they come here, is driving in Scotland. And no, it's not just the fact.
Let me just say, when you go somewhere and it's so beautiful that you start to contemplate like moving there, you know it's an amazing place.
You drive on the left side of the road, which is kind of hard, and you'll notice that they'll remind the tourists quite often at every single major tourist site you're going to drive to that we drive on the left. So make sure you do that. But no, it is kind of freaky that first time when you're driving, you think, wait, I got to be on this side of the road. No, you're on the left side. And that gets people. But that's not actually the scariest part or the shockingest part. There's a lot of small roads, and with this beautiful countryside with the hills and the lochs and the glens, you have a lot of windy roads as well. So it's like you're driving in a car commercial all the time, which is gorgeous, but it can be shockingly nerve-wracking on your first try. I know the first time I drove here, I was a little testy. This time, I'm much better. Jocelyn, she's doing most of the driving this time too, and she's like, oh my God. I'm like, it'll be fine, but just know it can get you. So be ready for those windy, narrow roads, okay? And driving on the left, that can get people. But you also might be shocked is if you want to see a lot of the natural beauty and get to some of these castles, you really do have to drive when you are here in Scotland. There is a good bus network and there's trains and stuff, but to really take Scotland in, you really got to drive on your own, because then you can go and see cool places all over. And what's cool when you're driving is actually the locals are pretty supportive, I would say, with all these tourists that don't know what side of the road to go on. They are helpful with directions, and they don't like ride up on your butt. I mean, they'll let you go and then they'll pass you when they need to, but they're not like aggressive drivers here, even on the motorway, which is really cool. And that kind of leads into the next thing I find shocking about Scotland is, no matter how touristy the place is, the people have been fantastic. The Scottish people are just awesome. They're super friendly. They're super helpful. They got some good jokes as well. And so that's what's really cool about it, because you think a place that gets so many tourists, and especially tourists that don't know how to drive, they get really frustrated with those tourists. The locals do. I mean, go to Florida and talk to the locals. They're like, oh, those snowbirds and those people in Orlando, they get frustrated with them. Here, if they do, they don't show it to the tourists, okay? They are super wonderful and super nice, and whether you're going to a little town like Plockton to stay or a bigger city like Inverness or something like that, people will be helpful. They take you in. Your B&B that you're going to stay in, ask them for some advice, but they'll probably give you the advice anywhere where you should go, don't worry. And don't be surprised if you go, I want to go to this castle today. They go, oh, no. You should go to this loch and then this castle and then go here to see the dolphins. That's how it goes. So that's one thing that really does shock you, just how nice the Scots are. Now, going off of those nice people, the sixth thing that's going to shock you when you come here is they speak English here, but you might not understand everything they say. Look, in Scotland, the farther you go north, the more of an accent people have, a stronger accent. And so for tourists, especially if you're coming from the US or places where English isn't the native language and you're used to that British English, the Queen's English kind of thing, the Hollywood English, it gets a little bit farther away from that here. So sometimes it can be a bit tough to understand people. That's in the more northern parts. In most tourism stuff, you're not going to have any problems, but that might be an issue some places you do go. That is one thing that you really should be ready for, is sometimes you'll be like, what'd you say? And so that is kind of a funny little thing, and you can have some fun with it. And the locals have fun with it too, because they'll totally like speak with a strong accent, or they'll speak a local language, and you'll be like, what? They're like, oh, you don't know, and they'll throw it back at you. But they're so cool about it. It's no big deal. But that just might be shocking that though you say you speak English, you might not understand theirs. Now, the seventh thing that might shock you to come here is the food. Look, Scottish cuisine isn't necessarily up there in terms of the wow factor of food. And the thing that shocks people most is when they hear about some of the more famous Scottish foods that you probably won't eat or have very often when you are here, but everyone likes to talk about it. For example, haggis. Haggis is basically organ meat chopped up with some spices and some other stuff, stuffed into an intestine, and then served to you. Well, it's cooked, of course, and then served to you. Sounds delicious, doesn't it? Oh, but wait, there's more. Maybe you like some black pudding? Hey, or black sausage? Which is basically blood mixed with some meat and rice and stuffed in another, casing to make a sausage kind of thing. They have that. But if you don't like the blood side of it, you can have the white version of it, which is made out of fat. Look, these kind of things you might have, like the black pudding and black sausage kind of stuff, you might have for breakfast in the morning, but you're most likely not going to have that when you're here. And that's why kind of actually the shocking thing about food in Scotland is there actually is some really good food here. When you're going to the pubs, you go to the restaurants, they have some really good grub. And yes, you can have the fish and chips, the kind of traditional UK kind of stuff, but you have the potatoes and the turnips, and these kind of things that you will like. But there is a lot of really good food here. The pies I've really enjoyed. The boys been eating like crazy when you're here. Amazing fish, dude. There's a reason why you pay so much money for Scottish salmon when you're at your store back home, because it's phenomenal. And here you can go by the store for next to nothing and have a fantastic meal you cook on your own with Scottish salmon, which is awesome. The porridge here, the oatmeal. Look, my kids were joking with me when I went and bought oatmeal for them or porridge for them. They're like, Dad, we don't like this at home. I'm like, just wait. Both of them this morning said, that was awesome. Can we have it tomorrow for breakfast? Okay, so there is some stuff that you will really enjoy when you are here. And for me, one of my favorite parts of actually the food here in Scotland is when you go to the pub and you go to places and you go eat out, because it can give you more of an experience when you are here. And yes, you can try your haggis, but try some of the other stuff too, because you'll actually enjoy those. Now, the only thing that might shock you when you come here is the weather. Look. It's not raining. Look, it's kind of a joke that here in Scotland in the summer times, you can enjoy all 4 seasons in one day. Yes, I'm here and it's a beautiful day today. We had sun out, I had to get the sunblock out, the hat on and stuff like that. You can have beautiful days here in Scotland and it doesn't rain all the time. However, it does rain quite often. And the locals we talked to today, they said, oh, we have weather like this all the time in 10-minute increments every other day. Look, when you do come here, you need to bring layers, okay? You need to bring a jacket, okay? An umbrella, these kind of things, because it does rain a bit, okay? So do be ready for that, and don't let it ruin your vacation or your visit here, because that's a normal thing. And you can go and visit the castles, and you can go visit these things inside and outside with a little bit of rain. You're not going to be too bad off, okay? Now, there can be, worse storms, but just like anywhere, so just be ready for that one. But just know the weather here, it might shock you that, wait, you can have sunny, beautiful days in Scotland? Yes. Yes, you can, okay? But just know the rain does come quite often. I guess we're just lucky today. Also, I think it shocks some people, especially if you have little kids when you come here, is if you're coming in the summertime, sun up is like 4 in the morning. Sundown is like 10 or something at night. And so the kids don't really want to go to bed. And so that light goes all day long. So what's cool about that is you can go and visit sites during the earlier hours of the day and the later hours of the night. Now, you can't go in. Most of the tourism places close by 6 and things like that, but you can still, hit the bars and hit the restaurants and stuff like that, or go driving along the coast, take in the dolphins going out to sea and things like that. You can do that. So don't be too worried about the weather or the sun all the time, or the clouds that are hiding the sun. You do have that. Now, our last 2 shocks, we'll go show you a little bit more of Scotland, and maybe that weather might change a bit, because honestly, I came out here to start filming this and I was fine with my little t-shirt, my little Nessie t-shirt, and now I'm like, dude, I need my Walter's World quarter zip because it's like dropped like 10 degrees while I've been filming. Anyway, I hope you have a great time here in Scotland. It is gorgeous, it is beautiful, and I hope you do enjoy it. But we'll go to another spot to finish off our last 2. Now, here we are driving to Aberdeen from Inverness, and you have these beautiful views all over Scotland. And to finish off our 10 shocks, actually I want to go to something about the nature that you might not like, are the midges, the little tiny bugs that can leave little red bites all over you. And the crazy thing about it is, it's kind of like if you take a map and you draw down the middle of Scotland. On the west side, the midges eat you alive. On the east side, not too much of a problem, but it is shock as how many bites you will get, and it is quite crazy, especially if you're going to the Isle of Skye and stuff like that. And then our 10th thing that shocks people when they come here is the lack of being able to shop after 6 o'clock. Look, a lot of towns and a lot of shops throughout the country of Scotland do close by 6 or at 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday and things like that. So there are limited hours to go shopping here. Now, some days and some places are open later, so you're okay. But just know that if you want to get your shopping done or buy your kilt or whatever you want to do, you need to do it before 6, okay? Also, with that timing thing, don't try to take your kids to eat at the pub for a late dinner because they won't let them in the evening, okay? So just a heads up on that one. Anyway, those were our 10 shocks of visiting Scotland. What are the 10 things that shocked you about visiting Scotland? Put it in the comment section below so we can have some more shocks. And we really appreciate your likes, subscriptions, and we hope you have a great time here in Scotland, because we know we have. And if you want to learn more, 5 things you love and hate about visiting Scotland, things you don't do when you're in Scotland, stuff like that, check us out on our website at waltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and we really appreciate your likes and subscriptions, and we know you have a great time here in Scotland. Bye from Scotland.
Wow. So he really went in on that video and definitely gave a lot of insight on different shocks of Scotland. I wasn't expecting the bugs that eat you alive. So, we're used to mosquitoes out here in the U.S., so I don't think it would be too much of a problem. The weather sounds amazing. The food sounds like something I would have to get used to, but I love food. I don't think I would have too much of a problem with the food. I think I would. I think I would get used to it fairly quickly. Just it looks so amazing. It looks with those cliffs. I wonder, are people allowed to like walk to the edge of those cliffs? If so, that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. because obviously there's not like no fence. But I'm curious, is there like a part of those like the cliff with the waterfall? I wonder if is there like a part where tourists just cannot go or people cannot go? Let me know in the comments. But because it looked like when she took that selfie, like she was at maybe a part that's meant for people to go to, and I don't know if that other part, like where literally the edge is like closed off or not allowed for public. But I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong, but if people can just roam over there, hopefully people are just being very very careful, very very careful. But it's so beautiful out there. I mean, it is just beautiful. I'm the type of person, I do like my like evening shopping and stuff like that. If I do shop, I don't really like to go out in public and shop too much. I'm an online type of guy just because I feel like I get drained a lot. But he said that the people of Scotland are very nice, so it wouldn't be like America. So I mean, I guess I would have to go out there and see for myself, right? When it comes to that, he said the people are very nice. The castles definitely would blow me away. I'm glad he mentioned Harry Potter because I feel like if I were to mention Harry Potter, someone would say, like previously, oh, you need to get out more, or you is that all you know is movies or whatever it was they said. But I'm glad he mentioned that, right? Because I do love my movies and I do love things that remind me of, fantasy and incredible things like that. So that's always a plus for me. May not be a plus for others, but it's a big plus for me. I got a very magical heart and a very, magical mind. So when I see things that remind me of, wow, this was in Harry Potter or this looks like a fairy tale, it just makes me feel like a kid and I love it. Hate me for that, whatever. But Scotland, you guys are amazing. And yeah, definitely for him to say uh, that his I think it was his wife was saying how she went, lets him move there. I've traveled a lot, like amongst the U.S., like pretty much every state, and I always be like, dang, I want to come across that one place where I love it so much, I just want to move there. So the fact that they have that experience that makes his wife feel like, oh, let's move here. I mean, that's incredible. That means that that's really really struck your heart a different type of way, and I think that's amazing. Amazing. But with that being said, that was Scotland. 10 shocks of visiting Scotland, and it definitely definitely seems very beautiful. I'll be back with more soon. Much love.